United States and Israel officially launched preemptive strikes on Iran government sites and terror sites, and reportedly, the Khamenei, the Iranian dictator, has fled Iran, and also eliminations of the defense minister, the Iranian president, and the leader of the judiciary in Iran has been eliminated. And now, what does this mean? Well, you see all these people saying, "Oh, no one wants this. No one wants anyone to attack Iran." Well, actual Iranians living in Iran, Persians and Iranians, they actually want the war. You see the videos coming out in Iran, you see them cheering as these bombs are dropping. But you see all these politicians and people who claim to care about foreign policy, even though they don't care, they just hate Israel and they just don't like President Trump. They're saying no one wants the attack on Iran. Well, really, Iranians actually want attacks on Iran, so that's the first thing. And also, like, what does this mean in war? Will this cause World War III? Not necessarily, because first of all, the main thing is that we did not declare a war. We're doing military operations, which is not an active war. Like we did it with Maduro. We did it with Operation Midnight Hammer, on the bombings of the nuclear facilities in Iran, Fordo, and all of that. Those were not acts of war. Those were really acts of peace to instill peace. And you don't obviously commander in chief doesn't need permission to do military strikes, only to declare a war, and we're not declaring a war. So this is not the case. So you see Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, who are a great couple, by the way. They're saying, "Oh, you need permission." No, you don't. He's the commander in chief. He's doing military strikes, military operations, and he does not need Congress's approval for that. Um, so that's the second thing. And the, President Trump made a video just uh, after the strikes were made, and he said he's urging the Iranian people to take back their government, meaning regime change, essentially. Because obviously we don't want a dictatorship there. We don't want to, world number one sponsor of terror, there. So they want the Iranians to take back their government, as the Iranians were planning to, but since the United States and Israel are striking Iran, they're taking out their leadership, the dictatorship leadership, and that'll create an opportunity for Iranians to take back their country, their government, and make Iran great again. And uh, hopefully, the United States troops and the Israeli troops are safe there. Obviously, strikes it's a military conflict. Um, like, and I really hope President Trump did his, and I know he did his best, and he's doing his best to make sure there are zero casualties. And I know he cannot fully guarantee that, but that's what war is, unfortunately. And hopefully, it doesn't come to that. And I hope um, President Trump, to his fullest extent, does not get casualties, because that I mean, obviously that wouldn't be good. And we need a we don't want a prolonged war. We don't want a war like the Gaza war, right? We don't want that, because obviously I support the idea of getting rid of the terrorists there, but that war was prolonged too much. They should have done it quicker, more efficient. They should have done it. It should have been quick. It shouldn't have prolonged for many years. Like, like, it shouldn't have prolonged the whole Biden administration. It should have, or not the whole Biden administration. Started in 2023, but it shouldn't have spanned like 3 years. It shouldn't have been like that. And um, we don't want the same thing with Iran. We don't want to take really. We don't even want to take months, right? If it might take a few months, maybe, or maybe it'll just be strikes, maybe for a week, but it should not take a year. It definitely should not take a year, because that'd be too long, and and um and I think it shouldn't be over 6 months, because then obviously then that's like, okay, now you're kind of um fighting a war almost, right? It should not be prolonged. It definitely should not be prolonged. They should do it as quick as possible, as efficiently as possible, as safely as possible. Reduce the amount of casualties for civilians and the troops, hopefully to zero, and get it done with. And let the Iranian people take back the government, because it is imperative that, first of all, Iran does not get a nuclear weapon, because that's the whole reason why he's striking, right? Because Iran was like, I mean, they were playing like uh um going one side, and they're like playing games with President Trump. They say they want to negotiate with him on a nuclear deal, and then they don't want to do it, and they keep doing that. And he's like, no, if you do that, then no, we're just going to bomb you. I mean, that's it. Um, and Iran did not want to negotiate, so unfortunately, it had to come to this. So, and maybe uh, Iranians will do the big the I think what the plan is. I'm not sure, but the plan is just that Israel and the United States will be like a distraction for or as in like, yeah, kind of like a distraction, I guess. Like, Iran would be too occupied to focus on the devastating strikes on Iran, because Trump said total obliteration last time at Fordo, and this time in the video just after he struck Iran, this time in Tehran and other government facilities. Total obliteration. So, what that means is there will be so much, and Iran knows this. Iran knows what kind of the plan is, I'm sure, or at least a general idea. I'm obviously Iran won't know the full plan, but I think they get an idea of what they're trying to do, and they know it, and they can't do anything about it. Iran knows that they're doing it just to distract Iran, so the people can get a chance to to take over the government, and they know that, but they can't do anything, because obviously they have to protect. It's kind of like it's very clever, actually. Um, and hopefully it works. Peace will ensue, because it's a whole goal. Peace through strength is the thing. Um, and when the best negotiators, first of all, you can't negotiate with someone who doesn't want to negotiate. That's the first thing, right? You can have the best negotiators in the world, which is what President Trump truly has, one of the best negotiators in the world, and yet he's not able to get a deal with Iran. It's not because of the negotiators' fault. It's because Iran does not want a deal. Iran does not want a deal with the United States, and you can't. It's like you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, right? So, um, they don't want to negotiate. You can't negotiate, right? They're just playing games with you at that point. So that's what that is, and um, yeah, pray for the troops, the civilians, that this operation, the military operation, will be quick, efficient, safe, lack of casualties, hopefully, on United States, Israel, and civilian side, and hopefully this will be quick, because it's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, this won't lead to World War III. It won't lead to a full-out war. and and I'm like 99% sure, probably 100% sure, really, that they're not going to prolong this for like, at least the United States is not going to prolong this for like more than a week, or maybe 2 weeks at best, because I don't think that's the goal. Like, if they're prolonging it, then Congress will put pressure on them to declare a war, or if asking them if they want to declare a war or not at that point if they keep prolonging it. Which means, yeah, I don't think it'll be prolonged, but um, hopefully it won't be prolonged. And I don't think that's their plan to do it continuously. They might do it for like a few days and then stop. And then at that point, they would probably just let Israel take care of the rest of it and the Iranian people. And but yeah, I think United States is gonna start doing it with Israel for a few days, and then maybe back off. Because they don't want to get that like, too involved in it. But they are helping Iranians and Israel as well. But they might not be striking Iran at that point, unless Iran retaliates back at the United States. Then it might be prolonged, but I don't think United States will do it for too long. It'll be Israel and the Iranian people doing it for most of it, I think. Um, and it's a testament to what peace through strength is, right? And people are saying it's an unnecessary war. First of all, it's not a war. Peace through strength is pretty good foreign policy. It's saying that obviously the first step is to negotiate and do, peaceful talks. If that doesn't work, we're not gonna we're not gonna stop it and leave it. President Trump is not gonna stop it and leave it, and then or continue the talks and waste time, right? No, he's gonna do. Okay, you're not doing this. Okay, then we'll do it ourselves then, right? President Trump will do it himself, and take care of business. And that's peace to strength, and it's pretty good foreign policy, and it's worked. And this is one of the examples in his second administration, at least, that in the second term, that shows his foreign policy is pretty. He's one of the best foreign policy presidents, like really best presidents on foreign policy in multiple decades. I think Reagan and a few others, or actually probably Reagan, President Trump. I think that's about it. Or like over a few decades, they've been the only one who's been really really good on foreign policy. So, pray for peace. That's it. Pray. We need peace for Iranian people and peace in the Middle East, and that's the goal of peace through strength and what President Trump is doing right now.